Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Philip, for the introduction. I'll be presenting actually the evolution of operational excellence using operational intelligence. It's sort of a case study. How did we implement operational excellence utilizing a governance process that enabled us to measure the right things? And actually, it's not only the measurement. What are the benefits that we gained as an outcome of these measurements? So I will just take you through a quick journey. How did we actually implemented BAPCO Operational Excellence System? And this system is actually an inherited system, something that we did not create within the organization. It was established in Chevron, and we just opted to adopt that system and just customize it to suit our requirements. And then how did we integrate operational governance within it? And then what are the shared learnings? Starting with, I just would like to introduce what is BAPCO. BAPCO is the Bahrain Petroleum company, and it's engaged with oil production, refining, distributing, and we are actually refining around 260 barrels per day. You've been hearing this operational excellence culture and safe culture since the morning, and there were a lot of expansion on the heart and the mind, and that's actually one of our core elements. Was we wanted to change the mindset of our people. We wanted people to always want to do the right thing and the right way rather than have to do the right thing. Rather than enforcing it, is that we wanted to be part of their hearts. And that was based on 4 basic principles that we actually outlined. That 0 incidents and injuries is attainable, and we wanted everybody within the organization to have the faith that it is attainable. And we never compromise safety for our production costs, and as well, the compliance with safe operating procedures and policies is not optional. And all of this was actually built within the model that we have operated within our organization. And the main key is the leadership within the whole implementation of operational excellence. And when I say leadership, I'm not talking only about management and executive management. I'm talking about all levels. Anybody in the organization who has an influence would be actually considered as a leader within the organization. So our journey started by implementing what we call the management system process, and this is a set process. The only difference within this process than other processes that we have is the main element in the middle, which is leadership accountability. So when we started setting our OE visions, which actually started in 2010, following that we conducted gap assessments, we prioritized our gaps, we developed a 3-year plan which we integrated into our business plan, started assigning the tasks and processes into the performance measure of our owners and leaders, and then we implemented these plans and we actually reviewed them regularly. And I'm going to go through some of these steps in greater depth at a later stage. So we began our journey in 2010, and the organization actually decided to actually go to an operational excellence management system. This system was to create a culture of OE and to embed the values within the organization, to close compliance with the effectiveness of these gaps, and to continuously improve, which is the sustainability of the system. So we had a lot of initiatives and projects at the beginning when we implemented that, where regarding management of change, incident investigation, we had a lot of improvement in our safe work practices. We actually implemented the API 745 process safety tiers for our KPIs, key performance indicators. And finally, we actually added a layer of governance utilizing an existing tool called XHQ. It's a Siemens product, which I'll actually be talking about in a further detail. Following all of these implementation, we thought about something that could actually lock in the sustainment of the process. And then we actually implemented our operational governance, which was introduced 2 years post the implementation of the whole management system. So these are the components of the management system that we started with, which is operational excellence. Management system components of 5 elements, 5 objectives. These objectives have to fulfill 13 requirements, and every requirement has a number of expectations with a total of 46 expectations. And the model that you see on your left is actually the Chevron model. What we've done in BAPCO, we actually adopted the same model. The only difference is, in order to actually take what they have and we built on it, we did not do the same model exactly. We mapped it to our existing management system. So we had a lot of processes existing within the organization. So we went into depth in every expectation and evaluated their existence within our organization, and we found that we have 27 BAPCO processes that fulfill the requirements of these 46. And the new thing that we have added, which is the leadership key, is every process has an owner and a custodian, which was a new concept that was actually brought in as part of the ownership of these processes to actually enable them to continually improve and actually make sure that they are working healthy within the whole process of implementation. This is just a quick shot of these 27 processes that we have within the organization, and we actually review this process map every year. So every year we look into them, we integrate, and whenever we feel that there is a process that needs more focus, we actually highlight it as a high process, or it could go into the lower process. It depends on the criticality of that specific process. So when we've done our journey, we started on focusing on different elements with the organization. So we have what we call the OE house, and this is how actually it encompasses all our operational management system built up within the organization. So the base is our culture, where we actually depend on different tools, which I'll be highlighting in a moment, followed by the services provided, and then all the 27 processes that we have, and all of these 27 processes are actually audited and monitored through our different management systems that we have accreditation for within the organization, through our enterprise risk management framework, and then it is actually mapped through or monitored through our MSP process. When we started our journey, the first thing that we took in mind is that it's a new culture, it's a new organizational change within the organization. So we wanted to create what we call fluency and alignment. We wanted everybody in the organization understand what do we mean by operational excellence. So we started using very basic tools, which is one of them is Usul BAPCO. And Usul BAPCO is actually a tool that our leaders use to set simple, clear objectives within the organization. It's like a code of conduct that's built on 10 principles, and all of them use the operative word always as the first element, and all of them based on 3 basic principles that we always ask everybody in the organization to follow them. So this actually enables and empowers our employee to always do it safe or not at all. There is always time to do it right, and if in doubt, to find out. So the leaders within the organization use this tool to actually gain commitment from employees that they will always do it safe, that we will have the organizational change within the safety culture embedded within utilizing the available tool. All of these elements are properly actioned and help us to align the organization. When we started implementing this, we didn't have that alignment. However, at a later stage, everybody understand, and not only understand, but behave utilizing Usul BAPCO, which was one of the first things that actually enabled us to align the organization. Secondly, we took it a further step where we started conducting different levels of training. The first training we call level 1, which is leader-led sessions. So all our leaders were conducting session with some OEMS facilitation, and then we had around 500 employees. And today, this actually will be moved on to be a compulsory training. So next year, everybody have to be trained on this level 1 OEMS training. The second level was service-led for operators. So we had some focus areas where we find out of the 27 processes, some areas where we have some gaps, some deficiencies, and we thought that we need to focus on. So we did a lot on maintenance, operations, and on permit to work, and we aroundly trained 800 employees. If employees do the level 1, they are actually enabled to be doing what we call a CBT, a certified computer-based training. And this computer-based training was actually to give them a bit higher level, and it was targeting all our leaders, supervisors and above. And we had around 216 leaders who actually passed this, and it's actually an ongoing certification. And the level 3 was a practical demonstration where we had 100 key leaders, and this was mainly targeting people to be more visible within the organization. So it's to utilize positive reinforcement, how actually they prepare to their visits, and what they should do within their practical demonstrations or their visibility within the organization. And we're still building on. We still have targets of 2 different levels for this for the coming year. Following that, we started doing a gap assessment. So we looked into the mapped processes against the requirements, the 46 requirements. We had a matrix that actually looked into design versus effectiveness. It's weighted against the effectiveness. So if the design was good but wasn't effective, it's actually considered as less than satisfactory. So we tried to actually evaluate all our processes. And out of the 27, we had 22 in 2011, which were unsatisfactory. And today we have only 3, and we're working as a priority for them to be closed, the gaps to be closed within 2016. However, to ensure that these are sustained within the performance level, because we always have a problem with sustainment rather than only achieving the level, we have actually locked in what we call operational governance. Okay? And we've done that actually through using a tool of operational intelligence. It's actually a governance way. It's about ensuring that people doing what they are supposed to do. We have the governance, which should not be a meeting. It's not a meeting at all. It's actually a gathering that ensures that people are operating on a daily basis. And these information are provided at the decision-making level. So the people will be able to take decisions quickly because they have a source of data. And it's like providing a one-stop shop for all the information that we have within the organization. And it made our organization very transparent and into a business process and all the key to successful governance. So when we looked into the structure of the organization, we looked into which level is the critical level, and it was the sectional level, where all the operation decisions are taken, and we thought that at this level we want to do these meetings. So what happened is that this is a solution that was actually utilized to conduct these different governance meetings, which each of them operate a section of refining. So we have around 10 to 13 different sections, and they are led by the operators, operation people, it's usually a superintendent level, and facilitated by the operational excellence team. And we have representatives from all the input other departments like maintenance, technical service, reliability, engineering, and if in case we need any extras, they are actually called in for that meeting. There is a zero preparation required for this operational governance, and there is a set of static agenda that all the meetings have to go through. There is no minutes, so it's live data that's coming in and actually going out of that meeting. And it's not a problem solving, it's like only collecting and measuring and looking into what are the obstacles. So what do we review? We look into our safety, health, environment issues, and both leading, lagging, and other than that, we look into audits, actions, incidents, investigations, and operational checks. We look into process safety, threats, and special focus areas if it's coming within the next month. And going out through this rhythm on a continuous basis, it actually gives you a good feel of how your plant is operating and what are the major issues that within the organization. So what is XHQ and how it actually helps us to facilitate the operational excellence? Okay, XHQ is an operational intelligence software from Siemens, and it actually, I'll just give you a walkthrough. It actually takes around 16 different systems within the organization. All of them have actually data that they pull in, and it creates and aggregates a level of a viewer. And this viewer enables us to actually take decisions, operate our performance, check our compliance, and ensure our reliability is actually up to date. So it's like just a one layer that rather than going into a 16 different software to take the information, you just go to one-stop shop and you actually collect all the information. So it's like a dashboard, but it's more than that because it can actually be drilled down. It's very easy to use. It's actually, what we have is that this is our main page. It's actually sectioned into different sections: safety, health, and environment. You have information on the crude run, leadership focus area, compliance and training, actions, critical activities, and utility trends, personal counts, and at-risk behaviors. And we actually even built in our key performance indicators within the system itself. So it's very easy. Everything is clickable. So whenever you click on any information, it actually drills all the regular information back from the database. So if you go and click on the critical activities, look into what the managements of change that happened within the organization, you would get a list of them, and you could actually drill further, and you would know what was that change actually within the organization. It's a very good tool. It's very easy and simple to actually utilize. Another example that we have is that the kerosene and the tank types that we have. So you look into the tanks, you could see what is within the tank, the content, the volume, the tests, the lab tests, was it passed the test? If it didn't pass, what actions have been taken? So you could go further and further in investigation, any item within that. What we've done to ensure that the governance at the sectional level is actually consistent, we created what we call governance sectional levels information, and these are set views for all our sectional levels. And these sectional levels have operating indexes and have a leadership focus area, and it have KPIs, and then they have around 11 explorers that they could filter on. So they could actually filter on any specific area they would like to actually look into. Another improvement that we had is the multi-dimensional explorer, where you have the incident investigation, and within the incident investigation you have all the categories of the different types of incidents. And the good thing about it, it's not only electronic system, it actually does some statistical information, and it's presented in a way that we actually look forward to actually take that information. So this actually gives you a details of the different types of illnesses and injuries, the body parts, the root causes, which usul were violated, and it to actually help our management to actually take further actions to develop our systems. We've done some correlations within the data, where all the data is enhanced within the organization. So if you click in within your login, you could know everything related to your specific, as an action owner, as an auditee, or as an MOC or post observer. So we have added some value-added elements. So we have two value-addeds. One is that you can actually communicate through the system itself. So you can actually send an email directly to reviewers, to the different levels within the organization, and it actually captures the information automatically. And the second thing was actually is automated push reports. So at the end of every month, there are automated push reports with some performance measures that are sent to different levels within the organization that actually enable us to review our performance regularly. Is it making a difference? Yes, it is making a difference. Before XHQ, actually, we used to have 300 overdue MOCs. Today, we actually have, at this stage, it was less than 50. At one time, we actually had 0 management of change overdues. So it's an eye-opener. It enables us to look into our problems and then try to focus on them. Overdue safety work orders, at stage we had around 230, and today we have 0 overdue safety work orders. So again, it's a tool that helps us to measure, focus, and fix the problems. And what I would like you to take out of this is that governance is like the OE. It's a journey that you keep your initial expectations in check. It helps you to measure and focus on different areas. It enables you to highlight success, and clearly it will establish an initial goal with everyone within the organization, from completing the overdue to actually completing before overdue. So people look into a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach. It allows the governance process to mature over time. And when we started this, we had a lot of issues, but we didn't attempt to solve all of them at one stage. We started fixing the big problems, and when we fix one, we go into the another, and then now we're actually focusing only on the high risk and the regular problems to fix. Is the tool that we use is always the XHQ.